Miami Heat Nation, what is going on? So, in today's video, we are going to be talking about what's the best fit. What makes sense trading for Ja Morant or Anthony Davis? Now, before we do start today's video, if you guys enjoy Miami Heat content, we do upload every single day. Our goal this year is to upload for 365 days, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So continue to keep liking, sharing, subscribing. Also, please go follow my Miami Heat TikTok, and also please follow my Miami Heat Instagram. We are expanding. We're trying to continue to keep building as a community, and I'm also thinking about doing a giveaway. So once again, let me know some giveaway ideas and continue to keep following me. But let's get back in today's video. So the Miami Heat just had one of their worst losses of the season to the Cavaliers, which was their G League Cavaliers team, especially with none of their star players playing. And we learned a lot from this game. I truthfully think this fast-paced offense is good for the regular season. I love to see it. But I do think when the playoffs happens, you're not going to be able to always play like that. You're going to have to run a half-court offense. And that's when you truly need a legitimate point guard that can set the offense up half court and get open looks for your teammates. And I think that's where Ja Morant comes into this situation, because we're not just going to always play fast pace, right? Playoffs, the game slows down every single time. And I'm not disregarding Davion Mitchell as a playmaker. I think he's doing a good job, but there's levels to this stuff. And I think Ja does help. And even with Ja Morant, you could say regressing, not the greatest shooter or this or that. I think the difference is if you add a Ja Morant without giving Davion and Tyler and stuff like that, Ja Morant has the shooters around him now. In Memphis, he didn't really have that. And when he did have that, they went to the second round, right? And they just played a really good Lakers team. It happens. But I think in the Eastern Conference, it'll be a little bit easier. Ja Morant's playmaking is superior, right? Like he does this for a reason. He does have some really good playmaking. So even if he's not knocking his shot down, the defense is still going to crash because he's still a good driver, and we can kick it out to Norm. We can kick it out to Tyler, right? You could throw in different lineups with Davion and John there at the same time. So I do think Spo can mix it up and have fun with it, right? But that's all depending on what we have to give up for Ja Morant. I'm not willing to give up no Tyler Hero because I think Tyler Hero is a better player. I really do. Now, at least, when Ja Morant was in his prime, which is kind of crazy to say because he's so young, he was a good basketball player. I also think a new scenery will make Ja Morant do play better, right? Like when you don't want to play somewhere, you're not playing your best basketball, right? So like I said, I know in previous videos I said I'm not the biggest fan of Ja or Anthony Davis, but I do want to think from a different perspective. And we're also going to talk about another player in this that I think will be a perfect fit. But let's look at Ja Morant's stats. So Ja Morant this year is only averaging 19 points a game, right? 3.7 rebounds, 8 assists. His field goal percentage is what you're concerned about, right? Shooting 35% from the field and shooting 16% from the three-point line. Now, his career, he never was a great three-point shooter, right? He's only at 31% from the line. And when you look at his latest games, 16 and 10, one of the things that do stand out is that his playmaking and assists are always going to be high, right? 10, 8, 13, 8, and 10. And I don't think Ja Morant's, like I said, I don't think his trade value is going to be that high. I don't even think you get a first-round pick out of it. Maybe I'm being delusional. But hey, now when we look at Ja Morant, his contract, because that's always going to play a factor, right? When you trade for these guys, contracts come in mind. And so Ja Morant, you have him for a couple years, right? So if you trade him for this year, you have him for 3 years. He's still 26 years old, still very, very young. And yes, the money is high, right? From 39 to 42 to $44 million. And you still got to figure out what you're going to do with Tyler's contract, Norm's contract. But if you're feeling confident that you can compete in the Eastern Conference this season, I think you do it, right? I think we've shown that we can compete against the top dogs in the East. Now it's a different conversation when you got to deal with the West, right? But right now we just got to get through the East. So I'm not upset with the Ja Morant move, right? I do think I think he'll help our playmaking ability. I think a new home will make him play a little bit better during this Heat culture, but I'm not giving up a certain players. I'm not, right? I don't think you give up Kelly Weir in this. Maybe if you have to, but I'm definitely throwing Jovic in there and other pieces. So let me know what you guys think about Ja. You see his contract, you see his stats and all that other stuff. Now, when we look at Anthony Davis, this is more the guy that one thing that the Miami Heat do is struggling right now is that we can't rebound. We're horrible rebounding, and we kind of knew that was going to happen heading into the season. That's why we wanted to back up big, but it looks like even with Weir and Bam, we're still struggling. And I do think Anthony Davis helps with this, right? Anthony Davis is, 32 years old, averaging 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 52% from the field. I do think there's more negative with Anthony Davis than positive, right? I mean, look at his split. 67% from the field is pretty good, but 33% from the three-point line. He been an okay three-point shooter, right? Not the greatest. 61% from the free throw line, which is not normal, right? 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 18 points a game. Now, he hasn't played due to injuries, only played 5 games. And these numbers are okay, but I think with Anthony Davis, he's just out of shape. I don't think he came into the training camp ready to play. I really don't. I think if you can get Anthony Davis in shape, I think he could start dominating. We've seen what he did with the Lakers. Like, he was a good basketball player. I think AD and Bam defensively will be amazing. And also, you could kind of still spread out the court like a little bit more than what you can do with Kel'el Ware, because Anthony Davis, like I said, he has that good mid-range. That's his shot. He can post people up, dominate people, go to the line. Bam's starting to do that a little bit more. And I think that would help us with our rebounding. I think it would help out with our defense, even though our defense is still pretty good. But I think it'll just be a different outcome. Now, a lot of people says, why would we trade for Anthony Davis when we got Kel'el Ware? Well, Kel'el Ware is most likely to come off the bench anyway. So now we have AD, Bam, and then you can still have your monsters out there when AD subs out or Bam subs out. You can have Ware Davis. You can have Ware Bam. You can have Bam Davis. Like, I think it's something unique that you can put out there. So I'm not against that. Once again, I'm not giving up Tyler Herro. And, if we don't give up Tyler Herro, cool. We don't trade for these guys. I'm fine with that too. But I just want to give you guys a different perspective of these ideas because these players are being linked to the Miami Heat. So one of the biggest no-nos of this is that Anthony Davis makes too much money, makes more money than Ja Morant. And the injury concern is a problem, right? $54 million, $58 and $62 million. I personally think that's a little bit too much for a player, like I said, who I think could change it around if he comes in shape. But dude, you're throwing a lot of money at that. So once again, let me know what you guys think about the Anthony Davis with his play with Bam and Kel'el Ware, what he could bring defensively and offensively, getting those rebounds. Do a little bit different, right? Now, lastly, I think this player right here would be awesome fit for us, Trey Murphy. I think this is the more realistic fit for us. Trey Murphy's awesome, right? Averaging 18 points a game. You could round up to 19, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 43% for the field, 6'8", 206. One of his biggest attributes is that he's a good three-point shooter, right? In his last 10, he's shooting 36% from the field. You can round it up to 37. Career, about 38%. So I think that's pretty damn good. And I think this is like a winning move without giving up your big pieces, right? Because like I said, even though I don't want to give up Tyler or for Ja or Bam, for Anthony Davis, I think they're still going to ask for that. And hopefully we don't. But with this one, you really don't. This is great, right? He's still very young, solid defender. He can fit with the team that we already have. This is the move that I really want to do. And I do think the Pelicans, I think they should start trading players. They're not a good team at all. And he's also on a very, very fair contract. I'm going to show you this contract right now so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So 25, 27, 29, $31 million for a top three-point shooter in this league. So out of these three options, let me know in the comment sections, what do you guys think? What's the better fit? Ja Morant? For me, I'll go Trey Murphy, Ja Morant, Anthony Davis. Don't mind Ja, even though there's still questions. Anthony Davis more on the no side, but adding Trey to a team that already has Norman and Tyler is just going to add more spacing to the team, and I think it'll be very, very fun. So once again, let me know what you guys think. Continue to keep liking, sharing, subscribing. Please follow my TikTok, link in the description. Please follow my Instagram. We're covering all the Miami Heat stuff. We're expanding. We're trying to grow as a community once again. And once again, let me know for giveaways. But appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And I'm out. Peace.